Don't let him walk all over you again.
All right, I'll tell him he should have done more to stop the fire. But Gaius, have you ever seen him walk all over me?
They're saying that the Emperor himself started the fire. And yes, Septimus, I have.
Does he not know half his empire is rising against him?
He's been told, but...
But he doesn't care, does he? Quite apart from the fact that he's clearly a lunatic.
Oh, and that's your professional opinion?
No. Spotting lunatics is merely a hobby of mine.
Well, forgive me, Gaius, but I'm not going to tell the most powerful man in the world that he's a lunatic. But I will demand answers.
Just stand up to him, Septimus. We're all with you.
Don't worry. Nero will hear our voice, like a clarion.
I was summoned.
It wasn't a summons, Your Majesty.
Yes, Septimus, it was.
Summoned by the Senate that proclaimed me a god.
I think we should actually...
Last time I looked Gaius Varus a god, handsomely outranked a senator.
There are some urgent matters that we must address, Your Majesty.
Are there now?
The fire. It destroyed half of Rome.
I'm aware.
But are you also aware that the people are placing blame for the fire?
On who?
On you, Your Majesty.
Is that so?
It is.
Well, what have you done about it?
Done about it?
Yes, you're the Senate. What have you done about it?
Your Majesty, the Senate of Rome doesn't deal with rumors.
Well, apparently it does, because I have been summoned here to talk about them.
We were merely trying to avert the...
Is there not one man of will among you? What will you do about these vile rumors? Invertebrate. Well, then I will tell you what we will do. We will find out and seek the culprit.
If Your Majesty could be more specific.
It has been proven to my satisfaction that the fire was started by a religious cult, the Christiani.
I don't know much about their Majesty, but I'm sure they wouldn't do anything.
Well, then how fortunate that I am here to educate you, Senator.
But the Christians are
Do
just...
you know what they believe?
Just vague ideas.
They worship a criminal who was executed by the Roman court. They believe that he came back from the dead and he's walking around the earth, a living corpse, if you will. And they have ceremonies where they drink of his blood and they eat of his flesh, but of course it is not his blood and his flesh. It is the blood of the babies that are stolen from our streets. And as an act of revenge, they have burned down our beloved city. And are you prepared to tolerate such blasphemers in our midst? No, they must not be tolerated. They have spread like a plague, and you have done nothing. We will bring their leaders back to Rome, and we will make an example of them. We will stage their executions for our amusement, and the last thing that they will hear will be our laughter and applause. And in their blood it shall be written in the scorched earth that there is only one Rome, there is only one Nero, and there is only one Caesar! Hail Caesar!
It is said that Nero had 40 men in his army. These 40 men were wrestlers. They were Nero's wrestlers, gladiators, who would come there to the field of endeavor, to the Agon, to wrestle for Nero. And they wanted to please their emperor. And as these 40 wrestlers would come there to wrestle before the emperor would sit there in his finery, in his velvet box, draped, sit there upon his throne and watch the games as these wrestlers would wrestle. They were the finest athletes in all of Rome. They would come out there with their square shoulders and bulging biceps, look up into the box of their emperor, and they would chant, "We are 40 wrestlers, wrestling for thee, O emperor, to win for thee the victory, and for thee the victor's crown." Everybody in the empire knew who these wrestlers were. They were the counterpart of our Olympic champions today. Then word came to Nero that some in the army had become Christians. Christianity was beginning to spread. To be a Christian now was a crime worthy of death. Christians must be put to death by fire, by sword, by beast. And so Nero sent out a word to his commander-in-chief, Vespasian, and said, "You need to go through the ranks of your troops. If you find any Christians, they shall be executed." Vespasian lined his troops up, and he said, "An edict has come from the emperor. Should there be any Christians, I'm going to ask you to confess to being Christians." And I'm told that a Christian will never deny that he's a Christian. But I want to say before you confess that you are a Christian, if you do this, you will surely be put to death. Then Vespasian said, "Are there any Christians?" He wasn't prepared for what was about to happen, because as one man, 40 stepped forward. All 40 of these wrestlers had given their hearts, their lives to Jesus Christ. When Vespasian saw that, he said, no, there's some mistake, not you 40. To a man, they said, "We believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God." Vespasian said, "Please, step back, renounce your faith, and it'll be over." Not a one of them moved. Vespasian said, "I cannot put you to death with the sword. I believe you've not thought it through. Surely you'll renounce your faith." He said, "I have a plan." It was in the middle of winter. Vespasian built a fire on a frozen lake, a big roaring fire. Then he took from those 40 men their helmet, their breastplate, their greaves of brass, their shoes, their shirt, their undergarments, stripped them down to absolutely nothing in that sub-zero weather, and turned them away in the darkness, and said, "You will stay out in the darkness until you freeze." But he said, if any of you out there in the cold and the darkness decide that you want to renounce Christ, all you have to do is come to the fire. Surely thinking they would come to the fire. Vespasian sent them out there, and the 40 men went out there. He wasn't prepared for what he was about to hear, because he heard the chant that he'd heard so many times, but now it was different. And this is what they were chanting: "We are 40 wrestlers, wrestling for thee, O Christ, to win for thee the victory, and from thee the victor's crown." Vespasian said, "Well, they're chanting now." But they will soon change. But on through the night, as the cold grew deeper, they heard this chant: 40 wrestlers wrestling for thee, O Christ, 40 wrestlers wrestling for thee, O Christ, to win for thee the victory, and from thee the victor's crown. It grew weaker and weaker and weaker. They were being numbed by the cold. But then the chanting stopped, and Vespasian looked, and there, slithering across the ice, was the naked form of one of those soldiers, turning his back on Jesus Christ, coming to the fire. Vespasian said, "Ha! Here he comes! The rest will soon follow. I knew it! I know men. The others will be coming soon." But he wasn't prepared for what he was about to hear. He listened, and he heard in the darkness, 39 wrestlers wrestling for thee, O Christ, to win for thee the victory, and from thee the victor's crown. When Vespasian heard that, and he looked at the miserable form before him slithering on the ice, according to the story, the way I heard it, Vespasian took from his head his helmet, took from his chest his armor, took from his back his shirt, from his feet his shoes, and ran toward the 39, saying, 40 wrestlers wrestling for thee, O Christ, to win for thee the victory, and from thee the victor's crown. Jesus wrestled for me. I want to wrestle for him. Don't you?